Kirill Potekhin. You are Chief Product Officer at Adaptee. This is your show, but this is also your year because I've been hearing a lot about you in the industry. I think it has to do with the importance of coming up with the right subscription model, and that takes testing. What does Adaptee do to make that happen?
Yeah, hey, hi everyone. So Adapty is a revenue management platform, and we help developers and marketers to grow in-app subscriptions and specifically build the paywalls that sell. So that's why we are kind of booming lately.
Because it's about personalization in the paywall.
Yeah.
It's about a paywall that is possibly also as much variety as the segments themselves. You nearly have to have a paywall for every customer segment.
In order to build a successful subscription-based application, well, first of all, it should be the application of the good quality, obviously, but then to monetize it, you should think about the paywalls that are being built, and you should definitely personalize them. And in Adapty, we believe that those tools should be easily accessible by the developers and the marketers. And with our tools, you can pretty much customize every part of the paywall and show specific paywalls to the different audiences of your application without any coding. So you can show one paywall to the customers that are coming from the specific Apple Search Ads keyword, and another paywall to the customers coming from the specific country. And yeah, this drives conversions up.
So how does that work? Is it the fact that the publisher then has this and then shows it? Is this more dynamic? So I'm seeing this, I'll show that. And then do they have a choice of it, just sort of like a backlog of various possible paywall pages? Or how do they match that?
Basically, you design your own paywalls as an app developer, and then you would run A/B tests because you never know which option will be better. So you have to experiment a lot. And in Adapty, yeah, you can see the whole backlog of your A/B testing. You can see which experiment won in for which audience, and this way you can see like the whole history and come up with some new ideas on what would you like to test, build it, and then launch it into your application.
It's interesting. They have to be personalized. And there's always, when you work with customers, you sort of see these models where you maybe thought that wouldn't be the one that works, or that is the one that fails.
Yeah.
What can you tell me about some interesting, wild paywall concepts that have worked?
It's worth noting that onboarding, those are the screens that come in before the paywall. Sometimes they can affect conversion even more than the paywall itself.
True.
And sometimes we think that the faster we bring the customer to the paywall, the faster we'll get the money. But in reality, we see that the longer the onboarding for some industries, the higher will be conversion, because the customer feels that they kind of put some effort into coming through these onboarding screens, and then once they are on the paywall, they will be more willing to pay for like what they did already. And speaking about the paywall itself, I would say that the number one feature that you should present on the paywall is some kind of social proof. It could be reviews from your existing customers, or mentioned that you were selected as the best application by the App Store team, something like that, because this builds some credibility between the customer and you, and this helps to drive your sales. And also, what we see is that there are more and more applications trying weekly subscriptions now, and over the period of 1 year, they have the highest revenue. So if you have not tried weekly subscriptions, we do recommend opting for them, because chances are this will boost your revenue.
And it makes sense, because if the onboarding is a little bit longer, then I have invested. I have skin in the game, literally, and I want to understand more about the app. You've told me, and therefore I will commit to a subscription. What are some numbers, not about Adapty, but the publishers you're working with? I mean, how much more revenue or how much more retention do they get when they're offering a subscription offer rather than what they were doing before? Because there's a reason to do this. It is work, but there is a benefit. What is that benefit?
We normally see roughly 25 to 30% increase in conversions over the first 3 to 6 months when they run different A/B testing regarding the products that they display, pricing, localizations are also very important because like there are some countries with really high subscription adoptions, but they don't speak English. And so if you just localize the paywall there, you will definitely increase your revenue, which is important. So yeah, I would say some simple things like localization, some price testing, they can drive your revenue up to 30% in a matter of several months, which is a lot, of course. And also another trend that we are seeing like globally in the industry is shifting from the in-app onboarding to the so-called web-to-app onboarding. It's when you build the web funnel and you try to monetize the customers there. So it helps with the attribution because there are no IDFA restrictions, nothing like that. And it's easier to follow the user kind of path, how they install the application and stuff like that. And the commissions, the fees of the payment providers are also smaller there. So first of all, make sure to run lots of A/B tests if you wanna drive your revenue. And secondly, try to use web-to-app funnels because it's a trend now, and it's not like uh, it is there for a reason.
Absolutely. And now we have laws that say we can do it. We don't have to go all the time to the app stores. There are alternative app stores. There are different approaches, different platforms, particularly in gaming. Do you serve all of those, or does it matter? Are you a platform agnostic and it's just basically test it and run it anywhere?
Yeah, we are pretty much platform agnostic. I mean, we're still focused on the mobile first, but whatever it is, it could be a game or the mobile application. Adapty does have an SDK for like your language, and yeah, you can use it no matter if it's the original app store or some kind of alternative app store. You can use our services.
What is some aspect of the paywall that publishers should modify, personalize, test that they're not doing right now? You talked about localization. You talked about the price. Different regions can pay different things. They have different sort of price elasticity. What is maybe one thing that they're not thinking about testing and making better that they could? Something super simple, because it's always the small things make a big difference, right?
Yeah, I would say two things. So the first one is the image, which is you can also localize it. So some countries they would have sportsmanship look like one way, some others. And the second thing that you can definitely and should test is which product is selected by default, because you can do multiple price testing, but even like such a thing as a which product is selected by default can have a huge impact on the conversion, because from our data, roughly 60% of the customers, they tend to go with a product which is selected by default, and this way you can kind of make a choice for the customer which subscription they would activate, and that's sometimes makes a huge difference.
I'm glad I caught up with you because you're Chief Product Officer. If you don't know it, no one does. And we got a couple little growth hacks as well from Adapty. Thanks so much, Kira. Really great to talk with you.
Thank you.
You're on.